If you've heard of Hourglass Cosmetics, you've probably heard of their iconic ambient lighting collection with those super glowy, smoothing, ethereal type of powders. And they released a foundation inspired by that iconic collection called their Ambient Soft Glow Foundation. So of course I had to try it out and see if it lives up to kind of the lushness of the iconic ambient lighting collection. So let's start with the claims and description of this foundation. So it's claimed to be a weightless liquid foundation that delivers buildable medium coverage with a light diffusing effect for up to 16 hours. That's a very long wear. So the coverage is medium, the finish is natural, and it is a liquid formula. Some of the highlighted ingredients are light diffusing pigments that claim to deliver a natural soft focus finish and help protect against blue light. It also has blurring spheres, whatever that means, minimizes the look of imperfections, fine lines, and wrinkles, and also has white tea extract, vitamin E, and antioxidants. Also paraben free and contains less than 1% synthetic fragrance. It's also vegan, gluten-free, and cruelty-free. Onto the packaging, I think this is a beautiful bottle. It's very Hourglass. It is a glass bottle, frosted glass, just feels luxe. The price of this foundation, by the way, is $58 for 1 ounce of product. So yeah, she's pricey. And I don't know the exact number of shades, but there is quite a few there. And just looking at the range, let's see how that's doing. It looks like they actually have a pretty good range of foundations. There's lots of deep shades, medium shades, which is kind of always the case, and light shades. But I would say that there's not a ton. Like, I wish there was more light shades actually, because the one that I got is too dark and it's only the second lightest shade. And then let's see what the deep shades are looking like. Yeah, maybe an additional couple shades on the light end and the dark end would definitely be beneficial. This is the shade 2, which is called Very Fair with Warm Undertones. So it's actually the third lightest shade. It goes from 1, Fairest with Cool Undertone, which I would have gotten, but it has a cool undertone. 1.5 with it, which is also very fair with cool undertones. I don't understand having 3 very fair shades and 2 of them being cool undertones and then only 1 of them being warm and not having any neutrals. It doesn't really make sense because the lightest one with neutral undertones is number 3. Maybe I should have gotten that one, but this shade that I got, number 2, the undertone kind of works for me. I definitely think I would probably do better with a neutral, but it also is too dark, so I wish they had a lighter, warmer shade for sure. Starting with the application, I pumped out about 2 pumps, and I'm going to start on the left side of my face using a sponge. This is a Shop Miss A sponge. You can get them in a pack on Amazon for a great price. They're my favorite sponges. And I'm just going to be blending that out. It blends really beautifully. You can definitely tell the shade is a little bit off, but in terms of application, it just goes on super well. I didn't have an issue with it, and with the sponge, because that does shear it out a bit, I would say it's like a light medium. I wouldn't say it's delivering a true medium with the sponge at this point. So here's what just one light layer of the foundation looks like on one side of my face. I started off light so I can build it up and kind of see how you can adjust the coverage to your liking, because right now this is a little bit too light coverage for my preference, but it does look pretty and it definitely has a natural finish. And then on the other side of my face, I did try it with an Artiste brush, although I feel like the coverage was not much different compared to the sponge, and I just like the way a sponge applies foundation better on my skin personally, so I just ended up blending that out with a sponge anyway. And then that was my full face of just a light layer. I think it looked really pretty, but I decided to use the rest of the foundation on my hand to build up the areas where I wanted more coverage. I avoided the center of my face so it wouldn't get cakey, and I just added it to sort of the outer portions of my cheeks, which I get a lot of redness, just to get the coverage that I like. I do wish it maybe had a little bit more coverage. To me, this is like a light medium because I like to wear like less foundation and just have more coverage, because that way it looks less makeup-y. But with a product like this, kind of depends on what you're looking for. If you like a lighter medium, I think you definitely get along with this type of coverage. So just after first application, I definitely didn't notice any creasing or bunching up. It definitely laid over my texture smoothly, and it does give this pretty skin-like finish, but I was kind of underwhelmed with the finish of this, I would say. I don't know, I was kind of expecting like this very like just smooth, glowy, it says that it's blurring type of formula. I did not necessarily find that it was blurring. It's kind of just like a good foundation look so far. It's definitely not very natural on my skin either. You can tell that I'm wearing makeup for sure. So I went ahead and finished up the rest of my makeup. I did end up powdering one side of my face. The side that I powdered is my right side, so that will be for the wear test. We'll see how it performs with powder and without powder for those of you who don't powder your face. Personally, I always powder because I just have more oily skin, but it's interesting to see how the foundation performs sort of with a different finish. So here is my completed look. I went ahead and did the rest of my face. I think the products went on nicely over the foundation. I also went ahead and included a clip of what the foundation looks like in natural light and direct sunlight, just so you can see sort of the texture of everything. I will say in my studio lighting, this foundation looks really nice and blurred, but when I step into sort of a diffuse sunlight, not really direct sunlight, but more of just like a natural light, how I would look outside or just not in studio lighting, it definitely has this very textured look. It just looks heavy and makeup-y on my skin, unfortunately. I don't know, like I wasn't expecting it to be makeup-y. I was really hoping it would be smooth and nice and natural, but I just really haven't been able to get the finish to look that great on me. And I have been testing this foundation for a couple weeks now, trying it with different things, trying it with no skincare, trying it with a different moisturizer, trying it with sunscreen, without sunscreen, with a primer, without primer. And under all those scenarios, I just find that it ended up looking cakey on me. Besides the slight cakey finish, I do think that it's a pretty looking foundation for sure. I think there's things that are comparable and probably better than this, especially at the price point. I just would not pay $58 for this kind of finish, but we will be going ahead with the wear test. I started, I think it was 12:30 that I ended up having my full face on, so I will be wearing it until the end of the day and then checking in to see how it holds up and if it gets worse or maybe it even gets better throughout the day. Before we get to the end of the video though, I would love to know your predictions below. Comment below before you finish the video if you think that this foundation is going to wear well or if it's not. I would love to hear your opinions and we can chat down there, so I will see you in the comments. I don't know why I do this. I'm not gonna tickle you, I swear. But yeah, see you later. I am back for my final check-in. It is 9:59, so 10 o'clock. So the foundation has been on for around 10 hours, and let's take a closer look at her. I don't know what that accent was. This was the powdered side, you could probably tell, and then this is the non-powdered side, which did get pretty oily around here. Just starting off with like how it wore overall, there's definitely like this, my chin wore off, my chin. The tip of my nose wore off, but I did rub that. It did claim to be transfer proof, which I actually find to be relatively true. Usually when I'm touching my hair, like my forehead makeup will wear off a lot more with other foundations. Even though it did wear off on my chin and my nose, those might have just been areas that I touched with some more pressure, but like the sides of my cheek, had an ice pack on my cheek and nothing really happened. But I am noticing on both sides of my mouth, it's just sinking into my lines quite a bit and just looking a little bit cakey, which is typical with foundations. And I'm just not like super duper impressed with the wear on it. I feel like it wears pretty good. It did claim 16-hour wear, I think, which is a little ridiculous. I don't think it would wear that well for 16 hours, especially without a powder. It's just like I'm getting very oily and the makeup around my nose is just like totally breaking up. I will give it props where props are due for looking semi-fresh looking on the skin, which I like. You know, sometimes when you're wearing your makeup for just a long time, it starts to look a little like dry and dehydrated. I'm definitely seeing that around my mouth. But the rest of my face, like my cheeks and my forehead, I feel like they do look pretty good. I'm just not totally sold on this formula because for me, the price tag, even if this was a drugstore foundation, I wouldn't be super impressed with just the finish of it. I really wish it looked more natural on my skin. In these lights, like, it looks really good, but in real life there's just a lot of texture going on, and I find a lot of different foundations sit better on my skin. Personally, the new RMS one I'm really loving. I feel like that's kind of a similar vibe. The RMS one almost has more coverage than this, and I like the finish better. I enjoy that that one's silicone free, and it definitely wore better. So if we are comparing the two, I'm definitely really liking the new RMS one better, especially since I believe they're similar prices. If I'm not wrong, the Hourglass one's actually more expensive. I believe the Hourglass one's 50 and the RMS is 48. Let me just check. Okay, yeah, that was right. This one is 48, Hourglass is 58. So I think for $10 less, you're actually getting a better formula with the RMS one. I don't really see a pro in the Hourglass one compared to that one. It's just not my favorite. It's even more makeup-y looking. I described the RMS one as this would be like a no makeup foundation, and then this is like the RMS one. Like, you can still kind of tell that you have makeup on, but in a really natural way. And then I would say the Hourglass one is just like even more a step above that. It really looks like you have makeup on, and for the level of coverage it's providing and just like a not so amazing finish, it's not something I'm going to recommend. It might work differently for different skin types. Maybe if you have like a drier skin type, this could work for you. I'm not feeling like I'm getting extra oily. I just think maybe the formula would work better on dry skin, but if you have dry patches, it might look cakey. I'm just gonna say, like, definitely get a sample of this before you go out and purchase. Out of all the foundations I've tried, which is a lot of them, it's not something that's standing out to me as like new or innovative. It's kind of just like another foundation, and I don't think that it stands out in any particular way, which is really disappointing to me because I'm a huge fan of Hourglass powder products. I think they do have this beautiful luminous finish. I feel like if they maybe had engineered a foundation that was really extremely like natural looking and thin on the skin, but had that really gorgeous natural luminescence, they would have hit a home run for me. I think that's kind of what they were going for, but on my skin type, it just didn't work out, unfortunately. I would love to know if you've tried this foundation. Maybe it worked out differently for you. Let me know your experiences down in the comments below. But for me, at the price point, with the finish and the not so great wear, it's not great. I don't know what else to say about it. But overall, with the price of it, with just the not so great wear and the cakiness, if this had not looked cakey on my skin, I would definitely like it a lot more. But unfortunately, it's just not great. Not a great one for me. Apparently at night, I just start doing accents. I don't know. I get tired. But also feel free to let me know what foundation you want to see me review next in the comments below. I'm open to any options. Some that I'm kind of curious about are the RCMA foundation. I'm really intrigued in that because I think they have a fair olive shade. And I might also dive into some drugstore type foundations, or I saw there's a new skin tint on Sephora. Let me know your preferences below. But thank you all for tuning in. I hope you found this helpful. Yada yada yada. I probably already said all of that in the outro you're about to see. I really do appreciate that you're watching this video, and please don't forget to subscribe if you enjoy my content, and give this video a like so other people who need to see this review will see it, because the YouTube algorithm lately has been crazy. It's just been like, not that girl. It's not, I don't know, we're feuding right now. But yeah, I'll see you in my next video. Alright, that was it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this review and wear test of the new Hourglass foundation. It's definitely exciting to try this out. Although it did end up being a little bit disappointing, I still hope you found this helpful in trying to navigate the new foundation launches. If you are looking for a new foundation, if this would be one that was suited to you. So thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget to like so this video gets to other people that may need to see it, and subscribe if you haven't already. But I will see you all in my next video. Bye.